to this particular session. I am your host and host, Chartered Accountant Deepak Mulchandani, and I'm the founder for this particular concept called degree to placements, which helps all the chartered accountants to bridge the gap between education and employability. As the name says, degrees to placements, we try to act this as a bridge. And I'm so privileged to have, now this is a word for pride for me, to have my students coming back and then guiding all of you. And today we have none other than Chartered Accountant Farheen Ranwala, who happens to
I
be
think
an
we have
angel
a background
investor
noise
at one point of time.
somewhere.
Uh, okay, so
We
I
have a
think
background
we
noise
need to
actually.
just a minute. We need to request all the participants to keep themselves on mute. Farheen, you can unmute yourself. And rest others, I mean, I request all of you not to interrupt and unmute yourself unless it is necessary. Farheen, can you unmute yourself right now? I'll do.
Yeah, now I think I'm on mute. Yeah.
Yes, you are. So I'm so elated to say that one of my student right now, an angel investor, is here to help all of you navigate the place of private equity. So Farheen happens to be my student. Farheen, and I must always also say Farheen's sister also, Maria, also happened to be my student. Both of
True.
them have been outstanding and notorious students. So it's a privilege to have them here. Farheen has worn multiple hats. She was initially in PwC and then she moved to Soar Beyond which ventures?
Ivy League Ventures. I
Ivy
was
League
also in
Ventures.
my family business for quite some time. So, no problem, Deepak sir. It is such a pleasure to be introduced by you, but I'll take it hence from here. I'll take it
Yes,
forward from here.
I'll tell
No
you one
problem.
thing. I'll tell you one thing. Today I am also a student. Okay. After
That role can't be reversed. You are a
it will.
lifetime teacher. It
No,
cannot be
I'll tell you
reversed.
why. I am also a viewer of Shark Tank. Okay. So even I have seen pitches, I have understood things. But today, all of us, almost 80 chartered accountants here, including me, want to understand कि पर्दे के पीछे क्या होता है. That's one. Secondly,
Yes,
I would like to understand as a chartered accountant fresher what is expected, what all I need to unlearn. Because there are a
correct.
lot of things जो CA में काम की हैं पर यहाँ नहीं होंगी. So that is something
Correct.
which I am looking forward for. And some inside stories also, some inside examples also, which make us understand that how the thrill and the chill of this is there. I have few rank holders also on this session. If
Oh, interesting.
yes, so because they are been also invited. If there are any few rank holders, if you can put this on the chat, so we'll come to know. And I also would like to see the demography. Okay, how many of you have joined from which cities? Can you just put it in your chat box so that we come to know that which cities you have logged in from?
So I think we have got an amazing audience. I
Nandita
can see
from
the
Uttar Pradesh.
numbers,
See,
and
yeah, I'll just read it for you. This is my happy time.
yeah, I can
Allow me
see
two
it. I
minutes.
can see it. It's flashing on my screen as
Yes.
well.
Ankush from Gurugram, Malav Kanani, AIR 13 from Baroda, Gujarat, Lucknow, Hyderabad, Jabalpur, Ranchi, Jharkhand, Delhi, Jaipur, Delhi, Arbaz Sheikh from Pune with All India rank 45, Arjun from Kerala, Chennai, AIR 23 from Obri, Rajasthan, Alok, Bangalore, Rajasthan, Chennai, Mumbai, Noida, Mumbai, Sonipat, Behrampur, Odisha, Bangalore, Visakhapatnam, Ganganagar, Rajasthan, wow, Indore, Odisha, Rakshit, Kadapa, Andhra Pradesh, Rakshit from Jaipur, New Delhi. So we have got the whole of the country right now listening to you.
So it gives me an immense pleasure to be hosted here and to address such an audience, amazing audience that
Okay,
I can
Karthik
see
also is
already.
there, AIR. Muzaffarpur. Karthik, I am wondering how did you get AIR 55? I see I only guessed till 50.
88. I can see an 88 AIR also. So,
Where?
isn't the AIR, do the AIRs don't stop at
50.
50?
Okay, AIR 36 is there.
Or
Mohammed AIR
ICI has
8.
extended the AIRs till
No,
100
no,
now.
no. They have corrected it.
Okay,
So it's all yours now, Fareen. I think you can take us yourself what you have been through. Put yourself
sure.
first, and then we'll set the context in such a way that afterwards we can have a question answer session. And by the
Yeah, yeah,
meantime,
sure. So I'll keep it interactive as
yep,
much as I can. And we will have an interactive session post my delivery
correct.
of the words.
So
Yeah.
all the
So
participants can keep their questions ready, and even I am the listener today. Over to you, Fareen.
so, as a host myself, I've hosted a lot of pitch sessions, and I would request everybody to keep themselves on mute till the time I am speaking, so that whenever the interactive session starts, you can unmute yourself, and then we can have question answers as and when you like it. So, thank you so much, first of all, Deepak sir. And it is his, this thing that we are all sitting over here, ready to chat and ready to. I am ready to speak today on the topic of investment banking and private equity. And to start with my PwC as a career, I am thankful to Deepak sir again, because it was his placement drive, and PwC had come to his on his call. PwC had come to Indore, and it was an off-campus placement that I was also selected among the 200 students. I'm sure this time also a lot of students would be sitting for the PwC placement drive and the other drives that Deepak sir might be hosting. Sorry. So yes, good evening, everybody. And I am CA Farheen Ranwala. So I'll give you a brief introduction about me so that you are acquainted about the speaker of the session today. So, as I mentioned, I passed out from May 2017 batch, and I started my career, as I already mentioned, with PwC Hyderabad into systems and process assurance. That was the first role that I took. And then after 2 years, 2 long years over there, I also served in PwC Hyderabad as an experienced consultant in risk advisory services. So that was majorly into management consultancy and risk advisory. Also, we had some internal audit engagements, but majorly it was for management consultancy. And then I was for 2 years, I was also involved in my family business. I got married here and I moved back to Indore. So I was involved in majorly project management and the overall management of a family-owned business that was into HVAC contractorship and consultancy. So from there, I had quite a lot of learnings that I also had from my earlier engagement in PwC, because we used to do a lot of process walkthroughs and business walkthroughs, which helped building my portfolio as well as a consultant, a business consultant. And also it helped me, assessing the businesses that were ready for me when I used to assess the startups in my career ahead. So after as a business owner, I learned a lot of business tricks and sales, majorly vendor management, procurement, etc. And then finally I got an opportunity of entering into VC world, and that happened by chance, not by intentions at all. So yes, I was the VP as of a VC based out of Indore and Gurgaon. And of from people from Indore might be knowing Asco Capital. It's a nationwide brand for debt financing. They do a lot of debt financing outside also. So I started their private equity wing from Indore and Gurgaon. And we were majorly working on the deep tech side of early stage companies. That was our major portfolio. So we were an angel investment network, and we had retail investors and institutional investors who put in small money, retail investments in early stage companies. So we closed around 3 4 deals there in my supervision. Of course, we had a lean team, that I supervised. And then finally, last year, I had the chance to come up with my own IB firm, investment banking firm, a full stack firm, which offers management consultancy as well as acceleration of early stage companies and fundraising for early stage and growth stage companies. So this has been my journey. And of course, being a chartered accountant, my former articleship and exposure to the businesses from PwC and by the might of PwC, I happen to enter into this field, and this field already feels home now. It's been for 5 years and into this field, and I think that I have finally found the destination where I belong. So, yeah, so, and it is a long way to go. So, today's agenda of the call is not to, having given my introduction, I would like to give you a disclaimer that the topic that we're going to discuss today is an ocean, and not even 1,000th of it can be covered in 1 hour or 1.5 hours, anyways. Um, that I'm going to do. So, the agenda of the call today is not to explain you what investment banking, venture capital, and private equity domains are, but the agenda of the call today is that a chartered accountant is speaking to the future chartered or the fresher chartered accountants, explaining them that how, either if you are interested into this field, what are the skills that you require to have, either acquired skills or inherent skills, to pursue this domain if you're interested into, whether or not you have the inherent capability to actually pursue this field or this domain, and what are the do's and don'ts that you need to keep in mind if at all you are walking on this path. So first of all, I would start with very basics, and I would just give you a sufficient knowledge because I have time constraint. So that's why I will give you a very brief knowledge of sufficient introduction of of these streams that I talk about. So when you hear about investment banking and private equity, these terms look very glamorous to everybody, right? It always, as Deepak sir also quoted in his poster and his creative, that it is not about Armanis and Rolexes in the world. It is much more than that. It is much deeper than that. So it on the sight of it or at the appearance of it, it looks very glamorous. But trust me, it is a very time-consuming domain. It all obviously pays you very high. I think the highest in the current as compared to all the other industries. But at the same time, it requires deep insights, not only just theoretically, but also the insights that you gather from your personal experiences and your personal deep dives into the businesses, your workings and your engagements with different industries. Also, patience and resistance, determination to stick to the domain when it comes to long working hours, sloggings. So yes, it is a time consuming process, and the majority of people we see going bald also at very early stages when they are into investment banking and private equity. So that's the humor part of it, but yes, it comes all the way along with this stream of career. So yes, I would suggest that first I will take you through what investment banking actually is and what private equity is. So when you understand that to start a business, we need funds and we need capital. So till the time founders or the owners of the business of or any startup for that matter are able to fund initially, we do not enter into the world of investment banking and private equity. They only enter the world of investment banking and private equity is when they are not able to bootstrap, or the bootstrapped amount is over with them. So bootstrapping is self-funding, and it is a term that is widely used. Now I'll use some jargons and I'll also explain you in the process. I'll try to keep it brief, but you should at least know the basic terms if you are interested in this domain. So, yeah, so if at the time when the self funding is not enough to actually fund further the operations of the company, the growth and the expansion of the company, expanding the team of the company, and even at the stages of product development, validation, technical validation of the company, commercial validation of the company, of the product and the services of the company, then these founders venture out into the market to ask for funds. And when this external funding is involved, in a very layman's language, if the external fund is involved in any business, then that that stage is called venture capital stage, wherein an investment banker is involved as as an intermediary, and the venture capital and this intermediary facilitates the transaction between the startup or the business and the venture capital. Now, venture capital or the venture capitalists can be anything. It can be friends and family, for that matter. We say triple F. Triple F is friends, family, and fools that enter at the first stage of investments or the business stage. So, business stage and investment stages, the investment cycle goes hand in hand. So, the first round of funding that happens is a triple F round. So, that is majorly when a founder which is not deep pocketed and is not able to bootstrap the company puts his very initial savings, very initial funds, and then he goes out saying that, hey, I have an idea, I have built something in it. It can be a very initial prototype, a very initial product, or an application for that matter, or a hardware product for that matter, and says that, hey, I have this idea or this product which is very initial and I need your support to explore ahead in this industry, right? So this round is the friends and family round and the triple F round, wherein they the close people just on the trust fund very initially to these people, to the founders. So this is at a business stage of ideation, and that's why we call it ideation stage, or a very early prototyping stage, right? Then then there comes the investment bankers, which take them to the private equity market. So there the role of AIFs come into picture, or accelerators come into picture. So at the very early stage we have incubations also and accelerators also in the market that are available, right? So these IBs play a role of facilitators to connect them to these incubation centers, to accelerators which are offered by multiple IITs and IIMs of the country. Also, government has started some schemes like Startup India Seed Fund Scheme, SISF, that we call. Then we have BIRAC grant, and we have many other grants. We have SIDBI, which gives the grants. Then we have NABARD. So we have a lot of organizations that give these grants. So the role of the investment banker is to facilitate not just the funds but also the acceleration, or you can say the mentoring of startups at the very early stage. Then the role of IIFs come in, wherein they've got a validation and a support and a backing from an accelerator, a well-known accelerator, or you can say a first funding round or the previous funding round of FFF. Then at the stage where the business has grown a little, or not the business but product has grown a little, they have made the MVP, they've created the MVP, they have processed it, then there comes the stage wherein they enter the AIF center, that is alternate investment funds. Now the private equity market comprises of these AIFs, majorly these AIFs, which fund from starting from pre-seed to seed, then multiple series rounds, series A, series B, series C, it goes on till D, E, F. So we have early stages and growth stages businesses that get these rounds. So as and when we go ahead in the series rounds, we get DEF, that happens at the growth stage of the company, growth stages of the company. Now this round majorly comes with the institutional investors. So these AIFs are called the institutional investors. They are SEBI registered funds, and they uh, do authentic validation of the company. Proper due diligence happens, and the big fours are involved in the due diligence. Good institutions are involved in the due diligence, and henceforth, the the money or the funding comes from these institutional investors. Now, on this note, after that, after the series round, we have the final round, that is P or pre-IPO rounds. So generally, in businesses, we don't. Some businesses, it depends on the nature of the industry. We don't require these many rounds. Generally, it happens that after Series A or Series B, pre-IPO or a private equity round happens. These are also here. The investment amount is huge. The valuations are, uh, risen up, and not only just private players but institutional investors, HNIs, come into place, and this gets facilitated majorly by merchant bankers who have their own set of investors. They do the market making, they do the DRHP of the company, and then finally it is listed in the IPO. So the pre-IPOs and IPOs are majorly taken by merchant bankers who have their own set of investors. They also invest into the company. Their investors in HNIs invest into the company. The network investors invest into the company, and finally they make the market. They also rise the shares. They do buying and selling of the shares, the initial shares. They also take up the green shoe option, and then it finally goes for the IPO. The application of DRHP, it is filed with the SEBI. SEBI gets the approval, and then it goes to the IPO. So this is the whole cycle that I've explained in a very brief manner, but it has a lot of complexities if we go in detail, if we go in deep. But the role of IB and the role of private equity lies in this chain, from seed money to series money and to private equity players coming into picture. And then finally, when the IPO happens, then it goes to the secondary market. So the retail investors can then buy and sell in the secondary market. So till in this chain, at multiple stages, in multiple roles, we as chartered accountants can actually get involved. And I always say that we have that privilege and that exposure of getting the best positions in as investment bankers or as private equity players, in the sense of fund managers, in the sense of fund directors. Because what happens is, so imagine an engineer just getting placed out of college. He just has the theoretical knowledge, but for chartered accountants, it's 3 years of articleship plus the industry experience that he gathers before entering. So this makes up the whole story very strong for chartered accountants and for us chartered accountants. And entering into investment banking and private equity is not just being analysts and doing some courses or doing CFA and being entry level players. No, if you're wanting to enter into investment banking or private equity, you should have this long term goal of being decision makers and deciding where your investors or network investors would be placing funds, convincing them to place the funds as per your investment decisions. So, this should be the long term goal. And if you have that passion in you to conduct or manage the funds of these players, of high net worth individuals, of institutional as well as retail investors, if you have that power, and if you understand that I can convince you, if you believe that you can convince them, you can decide on behalf of themselves, then you're an actual investment banker or a private equity player. So we've seen, now my agenda over here is to make you understand that if you are wanting to come into the stream, what are the skills that you actually need to have to assess that if I can be a good, I can actually pursue this as a career path or not. So firstly, what is the first important thing is your curiosity to learn and to know about businesses, business processes more and more. Because understand this thing that theoretical knowledge everybody is possessing right now in this era, right? And even if you're doing a CFA, after CA, you're doing CFA, well and good. But a lot of CFAs are passing out and they are acquiring these profiles. You will get an entry level of profile in investment banking. True, you will get an entry level analyst profile in AIFs, in alternate investment funds. But to grow on the ladder and to climb on that ladder, wherein you become the decision maker, it is very important to have the understanding of industries, to have the industry knowledge that only comes with practical exposure. So, as for me, if I talk about myself, I don't have a CFA degree, but then the years of experience in the business and the understanding of various industries helped me enter into this profile. So, and which was actually not intended as well. So I would actually say that this makes us this creates a differentiation between the other other professionals and chartered accountants, because they are out of college, they have no experience or very little experience, and they get into these. So we have seen analysts, so we directly communicate with these funds, and we've seen that the entry level, all the entry level analysts are either IITs or IIM candidates, right? They're passed out from IITs and IIMs. They have very limited knowledge of the industries, but they are placed at the entry levels just to make an entry of the businesses that they're talking to, or the founders that they're talking to. They take the entry level notes and they pass it on to the decision makers. And finally, the decision makers assess and tell them that whether to invest in this business or not. So, as a matter of fact, with the upcoming technology and the AI that we are regularly watching and chasing, watching that how it is actually getting advanced, and within no time, it is going to replace the entry level jobs as a whole. So we have to see that we are not just competing with humans here now. We are competing actually with AI, with humanoids and the agentic AI agents that are being built. So it's not it's just like a zombie army. I always refer it to zombie army. That we are now competing with them, and this AI is something that we are actually fighting against to protect our roles, right? So I would always suggest that if you are wanting to enter into this industry, first is the theoretical knowledge that Gen Z's are already smart. You know where which core has to be, which course has to be done from which platform. And there are a lot of there's a lot of content available, but we need to understand and we need to filter out the meaningless content from, because there's too much of content available also currently, and that was also become a major problem for this generation. We had in our times we had very limited content, and we understood that okay, we don't have to think here and there, we just have to do this, right? But nowadays the quantum of the content is too huge for you to judge what to study and what not to study, what course to do, what course not to do, right? So this is something that I would do. You have to prudently understand what knowledge you have to gain, you have to assess, you have to gather, and what not to. So brain itna sahi hai, it has a limited capacity. I cannot, I don't say that it cannot learn more, but it has over the time, if you scale it on a time scale, if you measure it on a time scale, in the limited time period you can gather limited knowledge. So make the best utilization. of that brain, of the capacity that you have, mental capacity that you have. So, first is that. So, understand what content to be consumed and be ready theoretically, because that will give you a base of each industry. So, industry research, market research is very important. Your curiosity to learn about businesses is very important. So, if I would suggest that if you are seriously wanting to enter into this profile and you're passionate about this profile, go for job profiles or career profiles early in your timeline of career, uh, which will fetch you good understanding of various industries. So profiles like consultancy, profiles like advisory, be it risk advisory, be it transaction advisory, be it deal advisory, or profiles like internal audits, not statutory audits, but internal audits, which will give you better understanding of the business processes, which will enable you to talk to these process owners, HODs, and understand how the businesses work. How do the internal operations work in various industries? So that will give you at least a superficial knowledge on how the industries work, right? So this is the way you strengthen your base to enter into the world of business. So I don't say that it is a world of investment banking. I always say that this is the world where businesses operate, and this is the world where you actually understand what are the financial requirements of business when they actually come to raise capital to an investment banker or to a private equity firm, right? So for that, you need to have a very strong understanding of various industries. So first thing is that, and your practical exposure will help you a lot to get to enter into the stream. If at all you're entering just with a CFA degree, it's hard. It's very hard to scale up very fast. But if you come up with practical knowledge and practical exposure into businesses, then it is very easy to ladder up into it. Right. So this is one part of skill that we need to understand. Then latter, theoretical knowledge is covered. Your curiosity to learn, your inquisitive to know, your researching capability, a research driving capability, and analytical skills are very important in this. Analytical skills, I've not come on analytical skills, I'll come to that later, but before that I'll come on very important skill, that is networking and communication. So this is a very white collar profile that anybody can have. We have investment bankers and we have a private equity which is always positioned as very sophisticated people around us, and that is true, because you are dealing with the cream of society, right? You're dealing with investors, high net worth individuals. You are dealing with people which control huge amount of money, which mobilize huge amount of money, right? So yes, definitely, the networking skills and the communication skills are very important in this domain particularly, because what happens is, when you develop those relationships with the investors, even if you're working in an investment banking firm, and you're capable of developing those relationship with investors, you can actually command the money and the money flow and the management, the fund channelization yourself someday. So that happened with me as well, right? I was the face of a company that I was working for, and then I got an exposure of their investors, and generally this happens. This is a pattern that everybody follows. So the if you're smart enough to understand the requirements of those investors, to the buying pattern and the behaviors of those investors, you can actually command their money one day, and you can actually decide for them where to invest and where not to invest. So these investor relations building capability is very important. The relation building capability is very important to scale ahead in this industry and in this domain. And the third thing is the analytical skills that you have. So basically, assessment and evaluation is something that humans can do, and here AI cannot replace you. I can now, at this point of time, I can get any sort of visualization. I have multiple tools that are available in the market for data visualization, data analytics, right? But the thing that cannot be replaced is the decision making. The decision making out of this analysis that is provided, and it is available in the market. You have Traction, you have Power BI, you have Tableau. These are the visualization tools, and Traction, Crunchbase, and other applications to have complete knowledge and data of the business, of varied businesses and industries. So gathering, extracting the data is not an issue anymore. Arranging it, visualizing it is not a challenge anymore. You know, drawing basic analytics is not a challenge anymore. This is already done by OpenAI. You just have to give the correct prompts, and I'll get it through. But the real challenge lies, and where we need humans and we need chartered accountants, is the decision making capability, wherein we, even if you ask OpenAI and ChatGPT that give me a decision out of it whether I should invest or whether I should not invest, basis the data that I've given you, ChatGPT will not be able to do it, because it is not just the company factors but the overall, the other factors. We, when we do SWOT analysis, we understand, we have learned this thing very well, that what are the industry factors, what is the current positionings, how are they involved, and what is the actual position of these industry, of the company in the overall industry, and as in the overall market itself. So there are multiple factors that only humans can jot down, and in the current scenario they can give a decision whether to invest or not. So focus on that, focus on um, honing that skill of assessment and that analysis basis the data that is available. क्योंकि एंट्री करने वाले और बेसिक डेटा निकालने वाले तो सब जगह है. Even if you become that, yes, you will be paid good. Definitely as an analyst you will be paid good, but you'll remain at that level and you will not be able to grow further. So this is the first thing, this is the thing that I wanted to say. And on the other thing, there's also one factor of your priority as a career, for your career, right? If the priority is just to have a high paying job, and then keep switching the jobs for a higher packages, for a higher package, then it might be a very good stream for you to start. But I would suggest that, I understand that with having an all India rank, or having good numbers would definitely help you get into IB faster. But for fresher CAs, for an average CA, it is difficult to get an IB role, even at the entry level, or a private equity role, even at the a very initial level or the entry level, because you need a CFA along with CA to enter into this. And trust me, the financials, the knowledge of financials, and your expertise in finance will actually help you at the growth stage private equity firms, right? Which operate at growth stages. For early stages, only assessment of businesses and your knowledge of businesses would help you. Knowledge of industry, knowledge of market as a whole will help you. So it also depends on what category of industry you are picking in, what category, what stage of private equity firm you are aiming to enter into to start your career. And I would suggest that at the start of the career, it is not a good choice, um, because you will end up applying to a lot of investment banking firms, but it is very difficult because they just don't want CAs, normal CAs. They want expertise in finance to be given those roles at the entry level also. So if you have some work experience prior to it, it'll help you better, or get the positions better and faster. Or if you have CFA, then it'll help you get into entry level jobs faster. And if the priority is just the package, then go for a higher paying profile first, and then anytime you can switch into investment banking, which is never a no no for an experienced CA. So that are the two those are the two things, right? But if you do not have that pressure of, and you're not the bread earner of the family, then I would always suggest that think from a longer or a long term perspective. Think that where do you want to see yourself 4 to 5 years down the line, and not just staying or taking up a career line which will make you more stagnant. So right, so everybody has a choice, right? Everybody, with me also, if I talk about my personal experience, I had a choice of getting into either Wipro with a high package, or PwC or a Deloitte with which were giving average packages, but then the profiles were better. So yes, definitely, it's always a choice. What do you want to see yourself into? You have some stagnant profiles. If you're just wanting to do it for money, you can take it up. But then if you have a choice, go for profiles wherein you can think that this can help me grow and build up my profile, build up my portfolio for something better that I want to do 5 years after this, right? 5 years post my qualification, or 10 years post my qualification. Right. And if at all you are wanting to build a career just into this, then you have to, have work experience, as per me, as per my understanding of this industry. So these are the things that you need to keep in mind. Also, I would say that initially, as you're taking and you're advancing towards entering into the careers. Hello.
Yeah, just a minute. I think somebody by mistake shared it. So it's okay. Please continue.
Yeah. Am I audible now?
Yeah, you're audible and visible. Somebody just enabled the whiteboard. Sorry for the interruption. Continue.
Yeah. Yeah. So yes, and also I would like to talk about majorly the role of AI in the given scenario that is happening. So as an investment banker, when we talk to founders and we understand, we are majorly working into tech focused domains, deep tech domains. So we understand the role of AI has been increasing in the couple of years. No, I'm not talking about decades, I'm talking about years over here, and these years will get reduced to months now, as and when the technology is growing and changing every day. So we understand that. Likewise, I just wanted to give this example of an agentic AI company that we are ourselves raising funds for. So we understand that they are deploying self trainable employee agents, or AI employees, you can say, that will be trained to completely access one application. So they are not just integrating the AI APIs of those applications. They're training humanoids or AI agents to actually perform all the functions as humans can perform on those applications. For say, suppose if I train the AI or the AI agent to use an application like a Gmail, or even SAP for that matter, or your ERP for that matter, it can perform all the functions uh, as good or even better what human beings can perform with that application. So it is actually going to change the complete scenario. And it actually claims to throw the entry level employees out of their jobs. So this is not something to scare you, but this is to make you understand that where technology is flowing now and where it is heading to, and we need to compete with them. So we need to offer some value addition which AI cannot offer, right? So we need to prepare ourselves for that level of competition. And I understand that this generation is very smart, smarter than our generation. But now the competition is also much more than what we had. We were only competing with humans, but you are competing with AI. This generation is competing with AI. So therefore, don't just aim small. Don't aim small. If you are wanting to enter this, I want every CA to enter with this ambition that I am going to lead the fund someday. I'm going to lead the fund someday. I'm going to be the fund manager or the driving factor of that investment banking firm or that AIF, that alternate investment fund. Then only enter with this passion and with this intention, enter into this role. Otherwise, you'll just be another analyst that can be thrown anytime out of the, because as a matter of fact, I'm running an investment banking firm, and I have myself replaced many of my analysts, 2 3 analysts, with AI, with the tools that I have, and that we can ourselves very easily access, giving prompts and getting the data, gathering the data. So this will happen, and this is happening across the globe now. So your communication and networking skills, your analytical and decision making skills, and your knowledge of businesses can help you sail throughout. That is my core message to and address to everybody. And apart from that, I would also want to address that, if at all you are still deciding and deciding whether you are on that brim and on that verge to understand that investment banking is a good career or a good fit for me, then you need to also understand your inherent skills, right? Some things can be acquired, but some major skills are inherently there in your this thing. So I would suggest that if you are particularly extrovert in that matter, you're curious about learning more, knowing more and more every day, because this involves continuous learning, and as doctors do, you have to continuous there's no age of learning, there's no stage of learning here. You have to continuously learn and keep your knowledge upgraded every point of time. So if you have that knack of knowing and learning every day something new, and trust me, as chartered accountants, we have such good capabilities to consume more and more, not in terms of just our subject matters, but also knowledge about technologies, different products, different services that are upcoming and mushrooming every day as we speak. So it's not just that if we've learned audit, taxation, and finance, we can't go and we can't explore out. There's too much in the world to explore. We can explore science, we can explore technology, and you have to do this to enter into the stream, because it's not just finance that is important, because that's finance is just a very small part of it. And at early stages, that is also not, because you don't have historic data to analyze, you don't have figures to analyze, you don't have financial data to analyze. You just have the industry and the product and the founder to analyze, the team to analyze, to assess that whether these founders can actually build this technology or this product and can actually commercialize this, create business out of this. That is something that you need to understand. And for this, only financial knowledge will not help. So to enter into this, a 360 degree lookout, a 360 degree knowledge assessing and gathering capability is very important. You need to keep your and eyes and minds open wherever you go. So, and in whatever profile you go, if the long term goal is investment banking or private equity, then you have to be a curious learner. That is something I would say. If we have any other questions, I can probably take up, or we can start with the interactive sessions. I'm open to queries
I
now.
have few questions.
Thank you. Thanks for patient listening.
No, no, it has been an immersive experience, and that clearly shows the length and breadth of work which you have done, Farheen. I have few questions which might be
Please do.
addressed on behalf of many of the candidates. So the moment you mentioned the word analysts, these analysts going to get wiped out by the entry level jobs, but the way technology is growing up. So all those Goldman
Correct.
Sachs and JP Morgans have these analyst positions at the entry level, giving flashy salaries where you keep on, correct my understanding, where you keep on working for
Yes, definitely.
high net worth agents sitting abroad and you just churn data for them and prepare their decks. तो वो जाएगा या जा चुका होगा
Trust
almost.
me, it is going to get swiped away. It is going to get swiped away. It's just years away. It's just, this is a matter of years, not even decades now.
So
uh
one thing is for
yeah,
clear that the Goldman Sachs and the JP Morgans where the people get lured कि मैं investment banking में जा रहा हूँ, I always tell them, boss, you are doing only back end work in the name of investment banking. You never face the client.
correct.
Correct.
That is true.
So,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Secondly,
So
there is a lot of sorry, you were saying
so the
something.
actual source of investment banking is to interact and to actually perform on the front end, whether on investor side or on the client side, right?
Hmm.
So if at all you're just doing crunching of data, then that job is going to get
Correct.
swiped away
So now
anyways.
this Gen Z, which you have appraised a lot and right now said that they are quite smart at it, but they are quite lazy also. I'll tell you why. There is a FOMO right now, or that FOMO is that now these all the self-proclaimed gurus over WhatsApp and LinkedIn come up and sell their classes.
Hmm.
15 दिन में
Correct. Then
module.
that's why I picked up this topic of consumption of content,
That is what.
a
Consume my
prudent
classes,
consumption of
become a
content
financial
consumption.
modeling expert in 10 days. 5,000 rupees, 10,000 rupees, become an expert. Now, I have been continuously telling them, boss, what you mentioned, na? Some things can be acquired, some are inherent. You need to analyze yourself what you are good at, what you are not good at.
Correct.
That process right now, it's been 12 days since their result now. The results got declared on 3rd. It's 15th.
Hmm.
दे आर स्टिल हैविंग दैट मजा वाला टाइम कि अरे अभी तो बस सब सेट है. दैट इज व्हाट दिस इज अ वेकअप कॉल फॉर देम. आप अपने आप को
Hmm.
समझो. यू नीड टू एनालाइज देमसेल्व्स दैट व्हाट दे आर गुड एट, व्हाट दे आर नॉट गुड एट. अभी तो दे आर जस्ट फ्लोटिंग हियर
So
एंड देयर.
yes, right now it's a complete market open to them, and they have a lot of opportunities that are getting flashed, uh, simultaneously.
दैट्स वेयर
So it
दे
is,
हैव टू बी कॉशियस कि सब कुछ अच्छा नहीं है. दे हैव टू बी चूजी एंड बीइंग
and you
चूजी.
need to also understand that the world appears to be very glamorous. All the profiles appear to be very glamorous, but you need to understand that what is your inherent capability and where you will fit the best.
करेक्ट. So these courses, folks, please understand how the market is working. Okay, I'm not commenting anything specifically, but please understand. Second, uh, you said that you have to analyze these people, founders, at the stages that whether they will be able to convert it into a business or not. So you will be
Correct.
doing their due diligence in terms of finance, in terms of their human capabilities, their capabilities to understand that whether they will be able to scale up and handle all this or not. I
Correct.
think 10 out of 6 times, मतलब 6 out of 10 times, you may realize in the first 5-7 minutes, फरीन, कि ये इससे नहीं हो पाएगा, ये सिर्फ खुशी खुशी में पहुंच गया है यहाँ तक.
Of course, that happens. Even when we take deep dives, we take first deep dives after the basic pitch deck analysis
Hmm.
by the team. So when we get to sit with them, and we take the deep dive of the business with them, with the founders. What some founders are like really striking. We understand on the first go with, and in the first hour of our interaction, that yes, he has that potential and he has that experience in the background, and also the capability to implement it and make it to be a successful business, not only just the running business, but a successful $1 million idea.
So,
So that 1 hour of deep dive is very important and critical to understand that. And in that first hour, we also understand many a times that that founder is doesn't have the substance inside. He is just flashy about his proposal, or flashy about his idea. He doesn't have the depth of knowledge, and we tend to end up roasting them. But then that skill also you need to have, you will only have when you have the knowledge of that industry or that business. Otherwise the founder will easily fool you up. And
hmm.
they do it to a lot of analysts, because analysts actually do not have the knowledge of the business. They've just done their degrees, and they've come out of the college, and they are there just to note and do the entry into their systems. So
So
definitely do the
you might actually need to develop that kind of an EQ also, that to say no to them without making them feel rejected also. And but that would tough
Yeah,
वाली
that
बुरी
is
बात भी
also
बोलनी
part of
पड़ती है.
relationship management, of course, of course. So that comes with experience when you interact with a lot of people and a lot of founders and clients altogether, investors altogether. So to say no is also an art, and that has to be honed.
Hmm.
Uh, Without making them feel that you know they cannot, so they also have to be praised, and they also have to be evaluated, they also have to be evaluated in terms of ki currently you are not able to do, but might be in future we have assessed you in that particular way that might be in future you are able to do it. So we will be keep we'll keep an eye on you, and we will revisit the venture, revisit your business once you've gathered some traction, or once you've scaled it up to up to some extent. So that is something that comes up with experience and
Hmm.
interacting and talking to these founders. So yeah,
Hmm. And
we also have to keep them encouraged, because if somebody is starting a business, so in the middle of the thing, if you're not funding them, you cannot just say them that leave the business right now. So
that's a very, that is what I was trying to understand, because many of the people burn themselves out to reach to a certain stage to listen that they don't have it. It's not an easy
correct,
thing. So
correct.
it's as
So
difficult for us
many
at
times
times.
smart pivoting is also important and critical,
Correct.
based on the feedbacks. Yeah.
I can correlate to what kind of a difficult emotional roller coaster ride you would be going through since at the end of this side. सारा कुछ फटाफट फटाफट एनालाइज करके उसको you have to come back and say कि बस this is what is your answer, whether you fit in or not.
Correct.
Great. One more thing I wanted to ask. I have seen you continuously over social media in terms of visiting various IIMs, various IITs, and various sessions now. You are very active into this circle. So now this
Yes.
circle, what I understand from your deliberation over the last 45 minutes, cannot be directly taken in. You have to be a part of it for some time, and then you have to be visible, you have to be approachable, you have to develop those contacts that you start getting invited and be a part of this particular coterie. Am I correct on that?
Yes, definitely. You have to be an integral part of the ecosystem, and that's where you tend to develop. That's what you tend to develop if you have those networking skills, because everything is about networking in this industry. It is a very substantial. I'm not saying it's 100% of it, but it is a very substantial portion of it. So getting involved in the communities, in the circles of startups, not only just startups, not only early stage, but also growth stage businesses, MSMEs. So Indore as an ecosystem has grown lately, and I have been very lucky enough and fortunate enough to be part of that early growing ecosystem. So not it's not far that we will say that we are also a startup hub of the country. We are far away from it, but then we are gradually growing. So involvement at every stage, not only just and in this chain, it's not only just getting involved at the funding level, or at the investor side, but also as a consultant to startups, as a mentor to startups. So that's where we gain a lot of community interaction and community involvement, because we are not just we don't say that we're just bringing funds to you, but we are also helping you grow. We are also giving you consultancies, giving you support wherever, whenever you require, at whatever stage you require. Because as chartered accountants, we all come from that background of, financial, background of, finance, background of audit and
Bringing that
taxation.
discipline
So
to them.
yeah, so bringing the discipline, that compliances to them, those compliances, those sort that aspect of advisory to them.
Great. So one stream is there in Big Four, which is called, as you mentioned, deal advisory, and there are SAT, transaction advisory. There's one more called financial due diligence, FDD also. That's also a part of the
Correct.
same category. So if they get into
Correct.
FDD, let me share some
Correct.
wisdom from my side. I have interacted with a lot of HRs at the Big Four level, and every kid who passes the CA
Mm-hmm.
exams wants to get into three. I want to get into deal advisory. I want to get into private equity and investment banking. Now, the moment I ask them to pull their choices, these are the choices they have. Now, the moment
Hmm.
I interact with the HRs come back and say, boss, the environment is so pressurizing that they can't
Hmm.
have a person who can learn and then reply and then give the answer. They want a plug and play resource. So that plug and play resource is not made available through regular small firms. So bole, one of the very good friend of mine who's become a friend, the HR said, bole, what they should do is initially they should spend some good amount of a couple of years into the statutory audit team of a listed client first. First, get into a listed client,
Huh.
understand the overall
That also
ecosystem.
helps. That also helps.
So that's one path which one real good friend of mine in the HR said कि पहले boys and girls please listen to this. So they have to develop that capability to get into some stat audit, do some good amount of listed clients. So you get the overall ecosystem understanding. And once that ecosystem understanding comes in, then you can go to the FDD stream. And from that FDD stream, you can go to the private equity or IB thing. Correct? So this is something which you need to be very clear कि करना क्या है. Okay. So this was something which wanted to tell you. And now we can open some questions to Farheen also. ये तो मेरे अंदर का curiosity था. So I wanted to ask these questions. I hope I have covered few questions on your behalf, my friends. This JP Morgan thing and this Goldman Sachs thing was one thing. Am I correct or not? Please tell me. That was to be done. So that is clear. I think Farheen is logged out for a minute, so she'll join us. In the meanwhile, you can add up your questions. We'll take all these questions one by one. We have another 15-20 minutes. Yes, Dipesh, internal audit, articleship helps internal audit to understand businesses. But before, if you are doing articleship right now, and if you are into finals, please remember you have to clear your CA exams also. Correct? So you need to prepare for a finals first and then think about all this. If you like Virat Kohli hitting sixes in Melbourne and Sydney, then please remember he has to play Ranji. And to play Ranji, he has to do net practice and exercise daily. Okay? So please remember that. So I'll just check with Farheen. She's got, think, involved in some call. Just a minute. Hmm. You all can unmute yourself also to ask some questions. Yeah, you can unmute yourself. I'll just enable the option. By the time Farheen logs in,
Hello.
yeah,
Hi, sir.
yes, Neha.
Hi, sir. This is Komal.
Okay, one by one. And please mention your city where you are from and then ask your question. Komal.
Sir, I'm from Bahadurgarh, which is a city in Haryana.
Okay.
So my question is that I have been trying to get into M&E tax profile, but my CV is being rejected on the basis that I have more than two attempts. So
Mm-hmm.
what should I do in this scenario? Like I got a call from KPMG and PwC, but
Mm-hmm.
they both rejected my CV because they said that you have more than two attempts and we take only up to two.
You have
So in
a good amount of corporate tax exposure in your articleship beta.
So I did articleship in M&A profile itself, but it was like for 9 months at Transaction Square.
Nine
But
months beginning the first 9 months or the last 9 months.
actually, it was in the middle.
Okay. So now the
So
challenge here, what comes
hmm,
in is your
hmm,
9 months out of the 3 years, 9 months seems to be a insufficient time. But
right.
otherwise, your exposure of corporate taxation is very solid or not? Tell me that.
No, sir. Apart from that, I was only working in a small firm in my city.
That's where
So
the
that
problem comes in. I'll tell you. The way I told you for FDD, na, the same is for M&A tax. M&A tax is a very high pressure kind of a thing. What
right.
happens is when there is a due diligence happening, one is a tax team, one is a systems team, one is a legal team. Okay. So the tax team has to understand everything fatafat and then give them a reward which gets clubbed into their overall opinion to develop the purchase consideration. What my point, Kumal? So if
Yes, sir.
one company has to give a quote that this is my deal price, so they have to be very on the toes. So that's where they have a problem. So if you get into some tax, understand my point. If you get into some tax stream, normal DT, and then from there, if you pivot to M&A tax, that is more insightful because the moment you get into tax in any of the bigger firms, you will be doing corporate clients. Problem kidhar hai, I'll tell you. We do all partnership and sole proprietor clients which only come once in a year. Okay, so they don't have transfer pricing, they don't have compliance issues, they don't have various declarations and disclosures to be made. That's a very simple computation. Challenge कब आता है, हमारा brain ready नहीं है and they want ready action people. So you can develop the skills this way, Komal.
So I right now I have an offer from Deloitte for start audit profile. So should I go for that one, or as you mentioned, I should look for a tax profile and then pivot to P?
If you have a pure liking towards DT only, then you wait. Otherwise, start audit is also a good place to be. Start audit to
Yeah.
FDD to फिर ये वाला रास्ता आएगा पूरा.
हाँ, just like you mentioned.
Yes, आएगा वो रास्ता. But then इसका ये मतलब नहीं you have to be just sitting there. What Farheen continuously said ना, लगातार सीखते रहना पड़ेगा. ऐसा नहीं है कि आप बढ़िया मस्त मस्त सैलरी लेके बैठ गए और खुश हो रहे हो वहां पे.
Okay.
So you
So
have to be
one
on
last
your
thing.
toes.
Okay. So one last thing, that should I look for like a small firm or a boutique firm which would provide me this M&A or IB profile, or should I straight away go ahead with the
बुटीक
Deloitte?
फर्म स्मॉल फर्म कौन कर रहा है ये सारा काम और इतने बड़े स्केल पे करेगा कौन?
Okay.
बुटीक फर्म भी उसको लेती है जिसके पास ब्रांड टैग होता है, तो आप जाके बैठो ना उधर और वहां से चालू करो फिर अगर सही है तो डू दैट
Okay.
वे.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Farheen has some network issue. She's joining and she just pinged me on WhatsApp. Okay. And okay, somebody else ordered. Since Sneha, you wanted to ask a question.
Yeah, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Which city
Good
are you
evening.
from?
Myself Sneha, and I'm from Vijaypura, which is the city in Karnataka.
Okay.
Sir, I have done my articleship from a small firm where I have not worked in a listed entities like that. So only corporate cooperative societies like individuals, firms. It is restricted to that only.
Mm-hmm.
So my confusion is like, why should I go to start audit? I am interested in going in the finance domain. I am it is from my academic background also. Well, though I don't have experience, but I am keen to learn about finances and which will help me in my personal career also. So, but also I have that concern. Yeah, I don't have the working experience in corporate. So what should I choose initially? Is my
Understand one thing,
concern.
Sneha. Farheen has joined. I'll just take one moment and then pass it on to Farheen. Farheen, I'll put the questions for you so that you can make the best of the time. Just allow me a minute.
No problem, sir. Please go ahead.
Sneha, liking a subject academically vis-a-vis making a career in that are two different things. If you are academically very good in financial management, does not mean that finance can be made as a career because the moment you get into the real world, it's altogether different. उतना आसान नहीं होता NPV, IRR, and then everything bringing it out easily. As you said. So second, despite of your exposure being in a smaller firm with only cooperative societies and smaller units, please don't forget you are a chartered accountant. So you have passed the exam, you know all the 6 subjects. Only the point is the practical application of few things which are required by the market are not happening with you in your office. So it's just a matter of time. If your learning attitude, you keeps yourself open, you will be able to master anything. उसका टेंशन लेना बंद कर दो. Becoming a chartered accountant is the biggest certificate that you can learn everything now.
That is very true. That is very true. It's just a stepping stone, in fact, I say, and it's just a validation for ourselves that, I can acquire any sort of knowledge that I want to. That is very truly said.
तो वो
Okay.
skill आ
So
जाता है स्नेहा. So don't worry on that whether should I do this or not. See, at the end, if something you join and if it doesn't work, let's say the worst case scenario, it doesn't work. So is your degree going to be taken away?
no, for sure.
What is the maximum thing? Yeah, it's not working for me. Let me try something else. As simple as that. That's the biggest privilege we all have earned being chartered accountants now. कुछ नया कर भी ले, नहीं भी चलेगा तो ठीक है ना, दूसरा तो कर ही सकते हैं.
You have myself as the example for that, because I have been switching over profiles now quite quite frequently. And it's been now since 4 years I've been in the same profile, but also in that I have been employed and then self-employed, as a matter of fact. But starting with my career, I changed profiles every 2 years in my career. And that doesn't mean that you will be starting from the scratch. No, every experience gives you a lifetime of learning, and somewhere or the other it will pay off. So yes.
I'll
So you
now, Farheen,
advise, so you advise to start with, I should go for statutory domain and then I can shift.
see, देखो
So
बड़ा
I am
career करोगे ना,
interested, like I want
I'll
to work on that to get into finance from the starting itself. So how how the thing should
So
go.
that career, see, career paths, yeah, you have to decide on your own at the end of the day what exactly you want. So giving a yes or a no from our side will not matter that much unless you get deep down into that particular stream and realize कि ये हो रहा है कि नहीं हो रहा है. So my point is that only which I was trying to tell you. करके देखो, you try it. If it doesn't work for you, it's fine.
Then
But if you,
switch. You can
हाँ,
always switch. You are a chartered accountant, you have employability in yourself. That is inherently given now to you.
So the
so
thing is like I should first settle down in the corporate world and then I can go
there is nothing
ahead
called settling down.
because it's something very new to someone
Sneha,
who has worked in.
4 years
Okay.
down the line, you didn't knew debit, credit, anything. Okay. So 4.5 years down the
Yes,
line, you
yes.
have cleared off everything. So why are you getting scared now कि settle down होना है? You are supposed to do every time new things. A learning capability will allow you. So you just need to think that कि मैं ये कर सकती हूँ.
So
Okay.
first, I would
Yeah.
suggest in this conversation, I would like to add up that if you do not have the pressure of earning for your family, if money is not your first priority, then go for something that interests you first of all. So you should not feel that boredom when you work. That is the most important thing, right? Because we are here, we've become chartered accountants to keep ourselves happy, right? And not just get ourselves working and then having an unhappy sort of a life. So first, imagine this thing that you have to do it 10 hours of your day, right? Not just 8 hours, but 10 hours of your day, and every day you have to do the same work. Will you be happy with that work, and will you be happy with that profile? If you're not, then do something else, then choose something else.
Yeah, that uh, I completely got it. But while during this session, I understood like they assuming that market condition, like they need someone who is experienced, unlike me who has zero experience,
No,
like
Sneha.
practical.
Because of the paucity of time, I'll tell you the last line and then I have to take another questions also.
Yes, I know.
Please stop thinking that they don't require you. That is what my point is. You have experience. It's just that you have to market it properly. You would have not just simply passed out time in the articles. We would have done something or the other very sincerely. The way you put it across to them makes the big difference. And none of them sitting in this session right now is totally experienced in everything. Let me tell you that, including me and Farheen also taken together. We all are still learners. So don't think that ki sabko sab kuch aata hai. Everybody knows and then they get into the. You have to start jumping in and start swimming on it. What Farheen told, try. If you feel happy, keep going. Otherwise, no. Because of the paucity of time, I need to take few more questions. Farheen, some few questions for you, beta.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay.
Sure.
Questions in chat
Thank
I'm
you,
taking
Farheen
first.
ma'am.
Yeah.
No ways, and no worries anytime. I'll
Okay.
just keep my video off. I have limited bandwidth, if that's
That's
okay.
okay. That's
Yeah.
okay. Vaibhav has a question. Is M&A tax post qualification a good entry point to switch into IBP later, 2, 3 years down the line, being an M&A tax person?
Okay. So here I would simply talk about my experience out of my experience, that M&A taxation is a very good profile to enter, right? But you need to understand that when it comes to taxation, so you don't get a lot of exposure of deals themselves, right? You will be tagged for the taxation aspect of it. That is very true in this aspect. So go for profiles which are broader in terms of work areas, and not very restricted to some aspects, because M&A होता ये है कि M&A as a profile, it sounds very interesting and a very lucrative profile. But when it comes to taxation, you are just typed and you are marked that you will be working आगे भी in the taxation domain. So to come out of that profile and to come out of that image, then that takes a toll on you. So I would suggest that M&A taxation is a good profile to enter into into your job career or your job profile. It's a very good profile. I don't deny it, and not normally average CAs don't get it. So if you're above average, you'll get that profile. I understand that because मेरे को भी नहीं मिली थी. मैं भी reject हो गई थी.
The
तो
same thing, Farheen, I told them when you were offline and with the network issue, one fellow had a Deloitte offer of statutory audit. So मैंने बोला, then take that path rather than sitting outside and looking for some boutique firms. Take that path. Once you are into a bigger league, you will understand things and keep yourself active there. Don't become just a small part of the team, earning good salary and simply taking time
सैलरी
off.
कमाना सिर्फ ऑप्शन नहीं हो, और मतलब इंटेंशन नहीं होना चाहिए, सिर्फ वो एजेंडा
Correct.
नहीं होना चाहिए एक्चुअली.
Hmm.
सो यू नीड टू कीप योर आईज एंड माइंड्स ओपन इवन इफ यू आर डूइंग एनीथिंग फॉर दैट मैटर. अगर मैं किसी का फाइनेंशियल ऑडिट या स्टैट्यूटरी ऑडिट भी कर रही हूँ, आई जस्ट डोंट हैव टू लुक एट द फाइनेंसेस ऑफ द कंपनी, रादर आई हैव टू बी विजिलेंट इनफ टू अंडरस्टैंड कि यार प्रोसेसेस कैसे काम कर रहे हैं, ऑपरेशंस
Right.
कैसे काम कर रहे हैं. I will give you just my I will give you my example only on this. I was deployed on the internal audit, or you can say consultancy project of Taj group of hotels. So हम लोगों का सिर्फ एस्पेक्ट जो था वो फाइनेंस कवर करने का था. We were their financial consultants basically. But then your curiosity and knack of learning will help you explore a lot of things that are not actually covered in your domain or not included in your area of working, right? So we used to go and explore out front office, housekeeping, engineering. These were not at all in our domains of working. But then to know and to learn about these processes will give you actual learning of these. क्योंकि यार स्टार्ट ऑडिट करके अंदर करियर थोड़ी बनाना है आपको.
वो
आपको तो
कंप्लायंस
उससे
कंप्लायंस
लर्निंग्स
करके
लेके
चेकलिस्ट में रह जाएंगे आखिरी में, स्टार्ट ऑडिट करते करते,
एग्जैक्टली
अगर
चेकलिस्ट
आईबी में
बनाते
आना है
बनाते
तो।
थोड़ी. एग्जैक्टली यू हैव टू ओपन योर ब्रेन्स एंड योर माइंड्स टू अंडरस्टैंड कि भाई धंधा कैसे काम कर रहा है वो. ये
हम्म.
नहीं देखना है कि उसके सिर्फ कंप्लायंसेस कैसे हो रहे हैं, वो तो कोई भी करेगा. टॉम डिक एंड हैरी, एनी यू डोंट नीड अ चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट आल्सो फॉर दैट. वो तो एआई भी कर देगा अब. दैट कैन बी ऑटोमेटेड कंप्लीटली, राइट? आपको वो आप गए हो उस धंधे, यू आर सिटिंग इन दैट प्रेमाइस, यू नीड टू नो एवरीथिंग ऑफ दैट बिजनेस सिटिंग इन दैट प्रेमाइस. दैट शुड बी योर एम.
Farheen, now we have got few more questions, but I would, respecting your and my time, I would ask you to give briefer answers so that we can cover maximum questions. Okay.
या श्योर, आई विल
So
कीप
there
दैट
are
इन माइंड.
various courses. One question is from Nidhi. This is a valid question which I also wanted to ask, that how do the kids keep themselves updated about this overall ecosystem of startups? Is there any website? Are there any news channels, or are there any places or some place where we can go and regularly study? Because what she is asking is there are various courses floating in the market to learn financial modeling. If one has to really learn financial modeling by practicing it on our own instead of relying on some courses, how we can approach this?
ओके. सो फाइनेंशियल मॉडल के कोर्सेज तो देखो, वन एंड मोर एवरीथिंग इज सेम ओनली. तो आप फाइनेंशियल मॉडल का कोई भी बेसिक कोर्स यू कैन डू इट फ्रॉम यूडेमी और यू डू इट फ्रॉम कोर्सेरा. जो कोर्सेज अवेलेबल है मोर और लेस दे आर द सेम ओनली, बट एप्लीकेशन इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. So once you are doing it, you will have to make it a practice that you select some companies and you start researching about them and applying these the theoretical knowledge on these industries on a particular company that you've chosen. So that is very important in terms of cracking interviews and getting the entry level opportunities also in the firms, in the investment banking firms or the equity firms and the funds. So that is very important. So you have to practically try it on courses. So I can give you some links. I will give that post the session on the chat, and this thing if you can DM me personally on LinkedIn, I'll give it to you. That's not an issue. But
Otherwise, you
then
can, Farheen,
courses,
send it to me also. I'll send it
yeah,
up.
yeah, I'll do that. So content is not an issue. Content बहुत सारा अच्छा है मार्केट में जो आप कंज्यूम कर सकते हो, बट उसका प्रैक्टिकल एप्लीकेशन करके देखना इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. So you have to start researching about the industries yourself. You have to apply those the knowledge that you have gathered from these courses to make you proficient, right? So that is very important.
Few more
आपके जो
questions.
research works होंगे, the research work that you're doing on industry, that will actually count and help you a lot, because theoretical knowledge अभी सबके पास है.
Hmm.
That will not make you outstanding.
Okay, one more question which is there. Will a career in the internal audit and risk advisory lead to FDD or IB? Farheen herself is an example. She went into systems process assurance and then went into risk advisory and then came here. Shubhanjali, along with that, you need to have that skill of learning and jumping and leaving the comfort zone. बार बार वही सवाल आ रहा है. कर सब सकते हो,
Yes.
but you need to have that attitude with you. Okay. I have a very good exposure in internal audit. Can I try for investment banking? Directly, Lakshya, you cannot. Farheen, just substantiate this. Directly having just
Internal
intermediate
audit is a very
experience.
good, see, internal audit is a very good opportunity to know and learn about businesses. It is very good because business process understanding आपको internal audit से सबसे अच्छी आएगी, सबसे अच्छी मिलेगी, in fact. And a lot of internal audit and engagements helped me also to gather a lot of and do a lot of walkthroughs around these business processes. So it can be a very good start for it. And it also depends upon कि कितना exposure आपको मिल रहा है, कितनी varied industries में you're able to work. So I would rather suggest कि gather some substantial knowledge. Don't repetitively do on one client,
Hmm.
even if you're there on internal audit. So your diversification is very important in terms of your internal audit, and don't just stick to the red tapeism and the procedural work in internal audit. Try to gather and try to amass how much maximum information that you can of the business, not from just the financial point of view and the compliance governance point of view, and the audit and taxation point of view, but from an operational point of view, कि वो धंधा कैसे काम कर रहा है, क्या सीक्रेट सॉस है, सप्लाई चेन क्या है, कस्टमर्स कैसे हैं, हाउ डू दे गेट टू इट, व्हाट इज द थिंग दैट इज कीपिंग देम अहेड ऑफ देयर कॉम्पिटिटर्स एंड स्टफ लाइक दैट. तो अगर ये जानने का वो है, तो देन इट इज वेरी easy for you to get into investment banking, because they see your understanding of the businesses and not just your procedural work that you've done before that.
Correct. One All India rank holder, Malav, has got a privilege of getting into a Big Four transaction advisory services IB or a boutique IB firm. He's asking you what, from a long-term prospect of getting into IB, what should be the target initially? Boutique IB firms or a Big Four transaction advisory services?
नहीं, I would say boutique advisory firm, boutique IB firm, sorry,
Hmm.
because boutique में आप you get to learn more. जितनी टीम लीन होगी उतना वेरिड फंक्शन
सारे
सीखोगे
काम
आप.
खुद करना पड़ेंगे.
सारे काम खुद करने पड़ेंगे. मार्केटिंग भी तुम ही करोगे, ये भी तुम करोगे, असेसमेंट भी खुद ही करोगे, इन्वेस्टर्स को भी खुद ही संभालोगे. बिकॉज आई हैव डन इट, राइट. आई स्टार्टेड विद वन एम्प्लॉय कंपनी, आई मेड इट, आई देन hired more people. So we were a lean team of size 5-6 people, but then everybody was getting every work. So I would
Hmm.
always say कि boutique IB firm will help you gather more exposure, and more you'll be able to assess more industries, understand more industries, rather than just working with big four. Big four can be a start, क्योंकि big four से क्या होता है कि एक टैग तो लगता ही लगता है. I would say I am
प्रोसेस का सेट तो दिख जाता है, इतने
प्रोसेस का
प्रोसेस.
सेट, थोड़ा सा आप में भी डिसिप्लिन आ जाता है इन टर्म्स ऑफ द प्रोसीजरल दिस थिंग यू हैव टू फॉलो, जो प्रोसेस फॉलो करना है, और जो वो है, तो जो नॉर्म्स फॉर अंडरस्टैंडिंग द प्रोसेसेस एंड द नॉर्म्स, इट इज गुड टू जॉइन अ बिग फोर. बट बिग फोर में डोंट वेस्ट अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम, आई वुड से.
Hmm.
2-3 साल करो एंड देन स्विच.
Correct. Okay. How to make, Suraj has a question, which is how to make a transition from internal audit, business process control testing, ERP audit profile to finance profile. And could you please suggest some courses and certifications? See, again, this Gen Z comes in for short-term courses, हर चीज का कोर्स चाहिए. इतना 1.25 घंटे से सूरज यही बात कर रहे हैं अपन. Still, you want to add something, Farheen?
तो इट्स अ वेरी गुड प्रोफाइल। ये जो इंटरनल कंट्रोल्स की और ये कंट्रोल टेस्टिंग की प्रोफाइल है ना, मेरी भी यही प्रोफाइल थी एसपीएनए
हाँ,
में।
even I am from the same
सिस्टम,
stream.
हाँ,
Same
ही
stream. I
इज आल्सो
did
फ्रॉम द सेम
I
टीम,
did control
एग्जैक्टली।
assurance for HUL for almost 2 years continuously. तो अभी
हाँ एग्जैक्टली।
in end to end पूरा का पूरा साइकिल समझ में आ जाता है. And when I
हाँ
started
एग्जैक्टली,
working,
वो बेस्ट है फॉर नोइंग कि कैसे प्रोसेस काम करता है। तो आप सीधे प्रोसेस ओनर के साथ बैठ रहे हो, एंड
correct.
यू आर गेटिंग दैट, यू आर वेरी फ्यू पीपल, यू आर अमंग्स दोज वेरी फ्यू पीपल जिनको एक्चुअली पूरा वॉक थ्रू मिलता है फ्रॉम द
हाँ,
हॉर्सेस माउथ।
correct. And
सो
मेरे time when I started doing it, ना, these terms were not there. Procure to pay, order to cash, hire to fire. These have come evolved over the day, but at the end of the day, the basics are still same. कि भाई
हाँ राइट
गाड़ी
एग्जैक्टली।
कैसे चलती है वो इंग्लिश में बता दे तो प्रोक्योर टू पे हो गया वो.
हाँ एग्जैक्टली तो मतलब आपको फ्रॉम द हॉर्सेस माउथ आपको डायरेक्ट इन्फॉर्मेशन मिल रही है, एंड यू आर एट दैट पोजीशन जिसमें आप सब कुछ पूछ सकते हो। मतलब यू कैन हैव एन नंबर ऑफ क्वेश्चंस फ्रॉम दैट प्रोसेस ओनर्स। आप पूरे दिन भर बैठ के उसका दिमाग खा सकते हो कि भाई समझा। तो फ्रॉम नॉट जस्ट फ्रॉम द कंट्रोल पर्सपेक्टिव बट फ्रॉम ऑपरेशंस पर्सपेक्टिव कि यार कैसे होता है एक्चुअली, प्रोसेस कैसे होता है। कंट्रोल तो मैं लगा लूंगी, वो सेकेंडरी है, वो तो सिर्फ मेरे को सैलरी के लिए कर रही हूँ मैं। बट एक्चुअल नॉलेज तो तेरे से मिल रहा है मुझे ऑन द प्रोसेस। So you need to gather that rather than just testing the controls and making the controls, assessing the risk and stuff like that. तो वो एक
लास्ट.
प्रोसीजरल चीज चलती है,
हम्म.
बट अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड कि बड़ा गेन क्या है। बड़ा गेन वो नॉलेज है।
हम्म. I'll take last two questions, okay?
हम्म।
Beginning a career in industry role provides a good pathway to move into IBNP later. Is it correct? This is a question from Dilpreet. Dilpreet, you have not mentioned where in the industry you will get in. If you are getting into bookkeeping operations, and Fareen, most of them still have this fascination of offshore accounting units. Now, offshore accounting units
अरे
are
भाई वो सबसे घटिया प्रोफाइल होती है। I am being very straightforward on this, and because ये जो काम होते हैं ना, ये अंडरस्टैंड, ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड, यू विल नेवर गेट फ्रंट एंड रोल्स इन दिस। ये सिर्फ बैक एंड का काम होता है जो डेवलप्ड कंट्रीज हमको दे देती है, जस्ट बिकॉज आवर लेबर इज चीप। सो यू आर जस्ट अ लो पेड लेबर फॉर देम।
see, it's harsh, but it's the reality. Somebody is
Yes,
already employed there,
this
but
is
that's
very
the direct.
savage. This is very savage to put it that way, but it is this is the reality. This is the harsh reality
एंड द बिगेस्ट
of
थिंग इज
these.
फरीन, वहां पे गोल्डन हैंडकफ है. पैसा इंडियन बिजनेस से ज्यादा दे देते तो छोड़ ही नहीं पाते ये लोग.
वही है प्रॉब्लम। और वही है कि फ्लेक्सिबल टाइमिंग्स हैं, अच्छे
वर्क लाइफ
टाइमिंग्स हैं,
बैलेंस है, सैटरडे संडे को
वर्क
पार्टी
लाइफ
करने को
बैलेंस
मिलती
है
है,
सैटरडे
वाउचर्स आ
संडे, बट
जाते हैं,
अंडरस्टैंड,
पूरा
बट
जीवन उसमें
अंडरस्टैंड
निकल
ये जो
जाता है.
एग्जैक्टली वो जो इनिशियल करियर का ऑप्शन होता है ना, वो चॉइस होती है ना, वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होती है। इवन इफ यू हैव टू वर्क हार्ड इन दोज इनिशियल इयर्स ना, दैट विल पे यू ऑफ लेटर। तो ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड कि जो आपका पहला करियर चॉइस है ना, वो बहुत क्रिटिकल है। And if you're just selecting a higher paying job with some work flexibility or timing flexibility, आराम से कर रहे हैं, comfort of your home or comfort inside your comfort zone, then it will uh, it will be a toll on your career ahead। समझो इस चीज को। सो अगर आपने स्टार्टिंग में मेहनत कर ली ना, तो वो डायरेक्शन सेट हो जाती है आपके करियर की कि अच्छा हमको बेटर करना है कुछ इससे, राइट। अगर if you're stuck in that loop and in that same profile, जैसे FP&A is also not a very good profile for that matter,
Oh, that is
because it
the most
pays you,
demanded thing right now. All these kids,
it
FP&A,
pays you well,
FP&A,
see, it
FP&A,
pays you
FP&A से
well।
नाचते हैं ये लोग.
FP&A, I actually rejected the profile myself. Wipro की FP&A profile I was getting, but I actually rejected it and came. It was the highest paying at that time, और अभी भी शायद FP&A highest paying ही है, क्योंकि private companies बहुत अच्छा पे करती है on FP&A। But try to understand, वही loop में फंसे रहोगे, FP&A से बाहर नहीं निकल पाओगे। It
वो
is the
आखिरी
same
में क्या होगा
financial
फरीन?
planning and analysis।
आई टेल यू व्हाट, आखिरी में होता क्या है कि वो एटीट्यूड पे आ जाता है कि भाई मेरे को जीवन में सिर्फ काम में ही मजा आ रहा है या मुझे कुछ और भी करना है. अगर काम में मजा आ रहा है
Exactly,
तो
बहुत
आदमी जंप
repetitive
करता
work
जाता
है।
है. हम्म.
बहुत रिपीटेटिव वर्क हो जाता है। रिपीटेटिव वर्क में यू गेट, देन इट्स लाइक यू जस्ट वर्किंग टू अर्न मनी, दैट्स इट। यू आर नॉट एंजॉयिंग इट, यू आर नॉट डिराइविंग एनीथिंग आउट ऑफ इट। खुद का करियर ग्रोथ रुक चुका है, क्योंकि एफपीए ने करियर करने के बाद तुमको सीखने को क्या मिल रहा है? दैट स्टे सेम रिपीटेटिव जॉब एवरी टाइम. सो वो जो 4-5 साल इनिशियली होते हैं ना, यू टेक इट एज योर लर्निंग पीरियड, जहाँ पे तुमको जॉब से सीखना है, तुमको पे नहीं करना है उनको, तुमको देना नहीं है, तुमको तुमको उनसे लेना है. दैट शुड बी योर एम.
Correct. Very rightly said. So this last question I'm taking for Aman Srivastava because of the paucity of time. It's on a weekend, on a Saturday evening. I've got Farheen speaking for so long. Last question from Aman.
No worries, no
I
worries. I'm
recently
actually
qualified.
I'm actually also traveling. I'm on a trek. तो
Oh, is
मैं
that?
एक एड्रेस, या I'm on a trek. I'm going to Kuari Pass. I'm in Rishikesh right now.
Oh,
So
great.
I'll also address the students on this one last thing. I'll take it at the end after the questions. So I'll
The
speak
last
on that
question
too.
I'm putting up.
Hmm.
Aman has recently qualified as a CA. He understands that IB roles often prefer candidates with an MBA or top ranking profiles. He has done CFA level 1 and his plan is to continue with CFA while getting any kind of a job. After I'm done with CFA, plan to transition into investment banking. If required, I'm also open to pursue a MBA in finance from ISB to strengthen my profile further. Is this a good
Hmm.
plan?
इट्स अ गुड प्लान. सो आप जब तक आप सीएफए कर रहे हैं, यू ट्राई टू हैव सम इंटर्नशिप्स, आईबी में ही या फिर पीई में भी, कहीं पे भी इंटर्नशिप्स ले लो. ट्राई टू बिल्ड दैट पोर्टफोलियो, दैट हेल्प्स अ लॉट. एंड उसके बाद 6-6 महीने की भी अगर आपकी इंटर्नशिप्स हो गई है, तो देन इट बिल्ड्स अ वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग कैंडिडेचर अलोंग विद सीएफए. तो तब तक आपका सीएफए भी हो जाएगा. इट विल बी लाइट working for you as an intern, and simultaneously you'll complete your CFA, which a lot of people do, and this is a very good option with it. और उसके साथ साइमल्टेनियसली कुछ इन्वेस्टमेंट बैंकिंग के कोर्सेज कर सकते हो, कुछ एनालिटिक्स, डेटा एनालिटिक्स के कोर्सेज कर सकते हो, दैट आई कैन रिकमेंड. एंड दैट विल बिल्ड अ वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग पोर्टफोलियो फॉर एंटरिंग इनटू आईबी, बिकॉज इंटर्नशिप्स का ऑलरेडी एक्सपोजर हो चुका होगा, एक्सपीरियंस मिल चुका होगा आपको.
Correct.
एमबीए इन फाइनेंस आई वुड नॉट सजेस्ट.
Hmm.
एमबीए इन फाइनेंस वही है, बहुत सुफिशियल होता है. अगर सीए कर लिया तो एमबीए इन फाइनेंस का कोई मतलब नहीं है, बिकॉज व्हाट वी हैव स्टडीड इन एसएफएम एंड एसएफएम मेजरली एंड फाइनेंशियल मैनेजमेंट, सेम चीज है. एमबीए में कुछ भी अलग नहीं है. सो वी हैव ऑलरेडी स्टडीड इन आईपीसीसी और इंटरमीडिएट व्हाट दे टीच इन एमबीए.
Correct.
So CFA is a very good option. CFA is something, it is an upgrade over CA in terms of finance. So financial expertise अगर चाहिए तो CFA is a good option rather than MBA finance.
Great. I think we'll wrap this up. Otherwise, the
Yeah.
questions will never end. You want to have a closing note, Farheen?
Yeah,
Please have the
I
closing note.
just wanted to have this closing note that आजकल, so this trend is there that they have a lot of options, they have a lot of opportunities that this generation is bestowed with. But you also need to, अभी क्या हो रहा है ना, mental well-being and mental this thing is also a big question that is arising nowadays. So I would also suggest कि अभी the point at which you guys are standing, यहाँ पे rejections भी होंगे, यहाँ पे failures भी होंगे. Lot of rejections will come to you in terms of interviews. You'll get rejected by the companies. You'll get a lot of rejections. तो वो rejections सबने face किए हैं. Every generation faces that. But it is at this point that you have to maintain your mental calm, and you need to understand that every opportunity lost gives you an opportunity to tap upon the next opportunity in the future. So वो बोलते हैं ना कि जो होता है अच्छे के लिए होता है. तो even if there are rejections, you have to rise up and you have to grab another opportunity, that opportunity that is lying for you, and that is many times it is a better choice and a better opportunity. So this is
थोड़ा
very
लेट या
important.
लेट समझ में आता है वो, पर आ जाता है थोड़े दिन बाद कि अच्छा ही हुआ था जो हुआ था.
हाँ, करेक्ट. और इसी उसमें यू मेंटेन योर मेंटल वेलबींग, क्योंकि आजकल मेंटल प्रॉब्लम्स बहुत हो रहे हैं, एंजाइटीज बहुत हो रही है. So you have to maintain that. You have to maintain your calm. Physically fit रहो. That is very very important. Go on treks. Explore out. ये भी बहुत important है. और अभी वेकेशन का टाइम है. You've just passed out. तो take some breaks. And don't worry. CA कर लिया है तो आगे it will be a good experience for you. Hopefully for everybody.
चलो, गुड. आई एम सो हैप्पी for this closing note, and this so much is important because the way I've been seeing kids unnecessarily getting
Yeah,
hyper about everything. सब कुछ अभी चाहिए, अरे हो जाएगा ना आराम से, it'll come to every one of you. I am
करेक्ट। किसी के
multiple
पास
pass
जल्दी
out.
आता है, किसी के पास लेट आता है,
आता सबके
बट
पास है।
आता सबके पास है। ट्रू।
मेरे को हमेशा बोलने में गर्व होता है, मैं मल्टीपल अटेम्प्ट पास आउट चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स एंड आई वाज लकी इनफ and fortunate enough to be in a place where I could help so many chartered accountants. And I
Yes,
can't.
I also passed out in second attempt finals में।
Correct.
So yeah,
मेरे को
so
अभी
it doesn't
खुशी
matter.
होती है कि इतने सारे बच्चे, एंड लेट मी टेल ऑल द ऑडियंस, ये सब मेरे स्टूडेंट्स हैं। ऐसे इन लोगों का टाइम आप लेने जाओगे, फरीन का और इन सब लोगों का मिलना मुश्किल है। एंड a single message and a single call to them and they say sir we are more than happy to do it। मेरे को कितना मजा आता है अभी ऐसा होते समय। I can feel as a one of the wealthiest person in the world, I have got so many students who are ready to guide my students further, and it's
That
such a
is true.
nice feeling to have. So on behalf of all the candidates, let me thank Fareen so much to you. Thank you is a
It's
smaller
always
word.
a pleasure. It's always a pleasure, and I'm available anytime you ask for it, sir. You know it.
Yes, I know. That's why I simply वो बोलते हैं ना, हक से फोन किया और मैसेज किया मैंने, फरीन अपने को सेशन करना है, and it has become
Yes.
more formal now. Fareen, now I'll just add one line. Now it's not only Indore drives. Now I'm serving the whole pan India, and now it's only
Okay.
one session. All the big fours are getting served through us, and we are
Mm-hmm.
catering to the pan India demography, as you saw from the participants here. So it
Yeah.
has taken up
No,
further.
it was actually a wonderful session, and I enjoyed more rather than rather than the students. So it is always an absolute pleasure to address very young audience. I have been taking lectures in IIT Indore also, GSITS में भी जा चुकी हूँ, so it's always a pleasure.
Wow. So I think we need to sit together across once in Indore and explore further things together.
Yes, definitely, anytime you say.
Chalo. Thank you very much, Fareen. Thank you very much for
Thank
your
you.
time. Have a
Thanks
safe
everybody
trek
for
and a
being a
nice time.
patient audience. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye. Good day.
So, guys, that was Fareen for you. I hope you all liked the session and enjoyed the session and derived some value out of it. This is what doesn't comes on YouTube videos so easily. So I hope you make the best use of the information which was available today. So thank you very much for being here till the end. I hope it helped. Okay. So
Thank you so much.
we'll be having our next session on forensics on next week. Forensics and opportunities in Dubai. So that also you can explore with me. Okay. Good night. Now you can go and party. You have become a chartered accountant. Okay. Enjoy.